Hello and welcome to First for Driving's online driver training sessions. These are used in conjunction with your normal in-car lessons, and they can be used before to give you an idea of what's expected on your driving lesson and afterwards in order to recap that driving lesson. Today's sections, we're looking at the controls and particularly the hand controls that you use in the vehicle. Now, first of all, although this shows a vehicle, many vehicles are different. They have different sort of types of controls, etc. But essentially, they are basically all the same and will be found in roughly the same position. All vehicles will have a steering wheel, similar to the one you're looking at, etc. All vehicles will have indicators. The indicators may be found on the left or may be found on the right of the steering wheel, but generally they'll be one way. When you first start to learn to drive, you'll be shown where they are in each car. When you buy a new car, they could be on the other side. They could be in different positions as well. So always checking where these things are. Lights, now in this vehicle, there's a panel down on the right-hand side on the dashboard, but very often they can be found on the steering wheel, similar to the indicators, sometimes on the same side as the indicators, sometimes on opposite sides of the indicators. And again, you'll gather that when you get your new car or your instructor. Horn, most vehicles have a horn. It may not be in the center of the steering wheel. It can be on the end of one of the steering wheel or the light stalks that stick out, but there will be a horn. A speedometer, which tells you how fast the car's going, and a rev counter. Most cars have got rev counters today, some are not. Generally they do. The gear lever we look at, and out of view of this vehicle is a parking brake. But again, parking brakes can be to the left of your seat, on rarer occasions to the right of your seat, okay, and on some occasions they're on a button or a lever on the dashboard. And I've even seen on vehicles, one of my vehicles has got the parking brake as a foot brake operated to the far left, next to the clutch pedal. As I said, all vehicles are different. Heated controls, again, generally similar in design and what they do. They may look different, etc., etc. Don't be confused by them all. They all have exactly the same function. They may just look a little bit different. Now let's remove the image and let's look at these in our basic form, and let's deal with each thing one by one. The steering wheel. Well, you probably already know this turns the vehicle from the left or to the right by rotating it. Okay, we encourage people to use a system of holding hands on the steering wheel at approximately 10 to 2, quarter to 3, or thereabouts. Okay, when you first get in the car, you should be set up in such a way that it gives you a comfortable drive and that you can control the car sensibly and comfortably and under control. There is sometimes a tendency for people to try and hold onto the bottom of the steering wheel, but that can cause major problems in an emergency. For general driving, you'll find it's fine. Those few seconds that you would require to get your control of the car back, if your hands were not in these positions, could be a life and death situation. Indicators, as I said, they can be on the left or the right. Basically, normally, when you have your hand out 10 to 2 or quarter to 3, you'll find you can outstretch your fingers just enough to touch the indicators down or the indicators up to turn left or right, etc. Generally, they will self-cancel when you turn the wheel round and you turn the wheel back. They will self-cancel, take themselves off, but sometimes you have to check that they have or have not done that. The light switch here, I've shown it on a stalk, similar to the indicators, but again, it can be on the dashboard. But normally, whatever you've got some method of operating a warning system by flashing the headlights by some form of stalk on the steering wheel. Again, you just exchange your fingers in order to flash and touch that without taking your hands off the wheel properly. The other main control that you have is the gear lever. And again, this will be covered in more detail in the car. Generally, most cars today are 5-speed. Okay, we've given you 5 gears, 4 gears, and 1 reverse. Some cars have got 6 speeds, and there's even more now. Generally, first gear is the gear you generally move off in. If you've ever rode a push bike, first gear is the one on a bike which is easiest to pedal. It's easy to pedal, but once you get up to a bit of speed, you find that your feet are pedaling too fast and you need to move up through the gears. And very similar here. Obviously, it's not your feet pedaling a car, but an engine, but you won't stay very long in first gear before the engine will be sounding very noisy and very screaming. So you would then move up through the gears accordingly, etc. First gear is the car with this gives you sort of lots of power to get up hills and things, etc. And then fifth and sixth gear are like cruising speeds. They will hold your speed up at the top end of the speeds, etc. Try moving off on a hill in gear 6. It just isn't going to work. And likewise, if you were on a motorway driving in first gear at 70 miles an hour, your ears would be deafened by the noise and your engine wouldn't last very long at all. Most of you that are driving automatic cars have a slightly different setup, etc. And again, this is a sort of a fairly reasonably standard system for automatic. P for park, which is a manual thing which can engage a cog to stop the car from moving, only to be applied when stationary. The R is reverse, the N is a neutral, and the D is drive. And sometimes I'll have a system where you can manually select gears as well. This is just a brief interlude. Remember, the main controls that come in your driving lessons. Out of shot of my picture is the parking brake or the handbrake, and this is a lever generally to the left of the vehicle, can be to the right and underneath there. On the end of your parking brake is a little button. This is normally depressed. You press the button in to release the handbrake. Generally, you often have to find that in order to get the handbrake to go down, you have to actually pull it up slightly first. You pull it up slightly first, pop the button in, and then keep the button down. Now, there's much debate over whether or not you push the button in to apply the parking brake. Most of the vehicles I've had, if I read the car handbook, it says to press the button and pull the lever up and release it. Other vehicles say that you don't need to, etc. So again, like all vehicles, it often comes down to actually reading the car handbook, the manufacturer's book, on what they recommend for your vehicles. Other controls on the vehicle we've got a rev counter, and that basically tells you how fast the engine is going, okay? And the other one is the speedometer, which actually tells you how fast the vehicle is going. Now, one of the highway code questions, or the show me tell me questions, and one of the questions you could be asked for in your driving test is things like, please show me how you could maximize demisting of the front and the rear windows. Okay, so heater controls are all basically the same. You have, like you have here on the left hand side, we have a heat. Blue is for cold, and then the red is for hot. So the further you turn the dial around, the hotter the car will get. If you were trying to demist the windows on a cold day, you would turn the heat setting up as far as you could, or certainly into the red. The middle button here on this one here shown, the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, is a fan speed. Okay, to get maximum pressure, to get maximum demisting, you turn the fan up full. And also the one button on the right, or the dial on the right, it shows the positions for where the heat or the blower, the vent will be done. And on here, you can see the first one here on the left where it's actually set to is hot, is into the face. So that's blowing warm air or cold air into the vehicle. The next one along is blowing it to your feet and into the vehicle. The next one is showing the legend is actually showing just blowing warm air or cold air into your feet only. Then this next one here is feet and the front windscreen. And then the next one is the windscreen alone. Now, to maximize demisting of the vehicle, you would basically turn all three of these dials to the right. So you would have the warmest setting on the highest speed with the demister set to the windscreen. Okay. Now, a lot of vehicles now have this button here, which is a circuitry, right? Basically, this stops the fresh air from coming from the outside to the inside. If you were driving past a lot of fumes, etc., so you would press this in order to, so you wouldn't breathe in the fumes. But basically, simple things is, they're there. There was also a heated rear window demister button, which would be on your vehicle, and on your vehicle, your instructor or the handbook will show you where it is. And last but not least is the horn. The horn in the centre of the vehicle or coming on stall. This is used to warn people of your presence, a bit like flashing the headlights. That can be used, in terms of very rules and highway code as to when and when you should not use that. So this was basically the hand controls for the vehicles, etc. A very short lesson again. Hopefully you found this useful, ready for your lessons, etc. If you find these useful, with many, many more videos on firstfordriving.co.uk website, I look forward to speaking to you soon. Speak soon. Thank you, and goodbye for now. Happy driving.